Did you know that the foods you eat at breakfast could be increasing your risk of a stroke after 70? For seniors, certain everyday foods are silently increasing your risk of a stroke, and it doesn't take decades of poor choices. Sometimes, all it takes is the wrong combination on the wrong morning, when your body is already vulnerable. In today's video, we're breaking down 5 specific breakfast foods that can quietly raise your stroke risk. These foods affect blood pressure, blood sugar, and circulation in ways that become far more dangerous after the age of 70. If you've ever felt fatigued after eating, experienced a sudden spike or crash in energy, or noticed changes in your heart rhythm around mealtime, this may explain why. Stay with us until the end, because the final food on this list is one most people consider perfectly healthy, yet it hides a risk few doctors mention, especially for older adults. Let's begin. Number 1. Processed meats, like bacon and sausage. There's a reason processed meats are often called a silent threat to heart health, especially for older adults. When you start your morning with bacon, sausage, or similar meats, you're not just adding flavor to your plate. You're also loading your bloodstream with sodium, saturated fat, and chemical preservatives like nitrates, all of which strain your arteries in ways you can't see or feel right away. For people in their 70s and 80s, this matters more than ever. Aging blood vessels are less elastic, more prone to inflammation, and often already narrowed. When you combine that with salty, fatty foods that spike your blood pressure and thicken your blood, you're walking into the kind of internal storm that makes strokes more likely. I remember a man named Frank, 74, who never missed his 2 slices of bacon every morning. It was tradition. But over time, he began noticing dizzy spells, especially after breakfast. He brushed it off until one morning, after his usual routine, he collapsed at the table. His stroke wasn't sudden. It was cumulative. Years of daily sodium, fat, and vascular stress, especially first thing in the morning when the body is just ramping up, had quietly pushed his system over the edge. Frank recovered, but he changed his habits. Now, he starts his day with oatmeal, avocado toast, or scrambled egg whites with herbs instead of meat. His blood pressure is lower, his energy is steadier, and he hasn't had a dizzy spell in months. It's not that bacon or sausage is evil. It's that after 70, your body can't process them the way it used to. The margins are tighter, the risks are greater, and what was once harmless becomes a hazard you can't afford to ignore. So, if you're still reaching for the frying pan every morning, take a moment to reconsider. Your arteries and your future may thank you for it. Number 2. Sugary breakfast cereals. They're colorful, convenient, and often marketed as part of a balanced breakfast, but for seniors, especially those with even slightly elevated blood pressure or blood sugar levels, sugary cereals can be a quiet danger hiding in plain sight. Most people don't realize just how much sugar is packed into that small bowl. A single serving can have as much sugar as a slice of cake, spiking your blood glucose and triggering a roller coaster of insulin response, inflammation, and arterial stress, all within the first hour of your day. That's a big problem if you're over 65 because, at this age, your blood vessels are more sensitive, your pancreas doesn't regulate insulin as efficiently, and sudden blood sugar spikes can increase blood thickness and oxidative stress. 2 major contributors to stroke risk. Take Robert, 76, who thought he was playing it safe with heart-healthy cereal every morning. It had whole grains, but it also had nearly 12 grams of sugar per serving, plus added syrups and dried fruit coated in glucose. He couldn't figure out why he felt jittery and sluggish by mid-morning, or why his blood pressure readings had recently crept upward. It wasn't until his nutritionist walked him through the label that he saw the connection. Once he made the switch to unsweetened oatmeal with a handful of fresh berries and a sprinkle of flaxseed, everything changed. His energy evened out, his blood pressure dropped, and the foggy mornings disappeared. When you're in your 70s, it's not just about avoiding sugar. It's about avoiding foods that create unstable energy patterns, challenge your circulation, and quietly wear down the body's natural rhythm. So, if your breakfast comes in a brightly colored box with a long list of ingredients, take a closer look. What tastes sweet may come at the cost of your long-term health. Number 3. Flavored yogurt with added sugars. Many people think of yogurt as a healthy choice, and it can be. But once sugars, artificial flavors, and thickeners are added, that little cup of dairy turns into something far less friendly to your heart and brain. For seniors, this matters more than ever, because what you eat first thing in the morning doesn't just fuel your body. It sets the tone for how your blood vessels function, how your brain receives oxygen, and how well your body can handle the rest of the day's demands. Flavored yogurts, especially fruit on the bottom, dessert-inspired varieties, often contain 15 to 20 grams of added sugar per serving. That's nearly 5 teaspoons of sugar in one small container. When consumed regularly, these hidden sugars contribute to chronic inflammation, insulin resistance, and spikes in triglycerides, all of which increase stroke risk over time. Ellen, 72nd, was a daily yogurt eater. She thought it was the healthiest part of her breakfast, but she always reached for the strawberry swirl or vanilla cream versions. She didn't think to check the label until her doctor noticed her fasting blood sugar creeping up and her cholesterol numbers shifting in the wrong direction. Once she switched to plain Greek yogurt with a few slices of banana or a drizzle of honey, her numbers began improving. She didn't feel deprived. She just felt clearer, steadier, and more in control. The issue isn't yogurt itself. It's the sweetened, processed versions that claim to support your gut but quietly burden your circulation. For someone over 70, even small daily habits like this add up. And because yogurt feels light and healthy, it's easy to overlook the impact. But your arteries don't miss a thing. They react to every spoonful, every morning. Number 4. Store-bought muffins and pastries. They're soft, sweet, and often feel like a little indulgence to start the day. But when you reach for that store-bought muffin or packaged Danish, you may be doing more harm than you realize, especially if you're over 70. These baked goods are often made with refined white flour, artificial flavorings, and industrial oils that are high in trans fats. Together, they form a dangerous trio that can elevate bad cholesterol, promote arterial plaque, and increase the risk of clot formation, key triggers for strokes in seniors. What's worse is how these pastries behave inside your body. The refined carbs create rapid blood sugar spikes, followed by crashes that leave you tired, irritable, and sometimes even shaky. At the same time, the hidden fats inflame your blood vessels and harden the arteries, quietly undermining your circulation, one bite at a time. There's a reason heart specialists often say it's not the calories, it's the ingredients. In a prepackaged muffin, most of those ingredients are designed for shelf life, not heart health. Take Margaret, 75, who loved blueberry muffins from her neighborhood grocery store. She figured they were better than donuts, so she treated herself a few times a week. But after a minor stroke sent her to the hospital, a dietitian showed her the numbers. Each muffin had over 400 calories, 15 grams of sugar, and nearly a full day's worth of saturated fat. Margaret was shocked. She thought she was making a smarter choice, and in some ways, that's the most dangerous part, how easily these foods pass as acceptable. She now bakes at home once a week using almond flour, mashed banana, and oats, still enjoying the ritual of a muffin, but without the hidden damage. When you're in your 70s, it's not about being perfect. It's about being aware. Number 5. Instant noodles or high-sodium microwave breakfast bowls. You might not think of instant noodles or microwave bowls as breakfast foods, but for many older adults, especially those living alone and looking for convenience, these quick meals have quietly found their way into the morning routine. They're easy. Just add hot water or pop it in the microwave. But the problem isn't the convenience, it's what's hidden in that plastic container. Most of these products are packed with sodium, sometimes over 900 mg in a single serving. That's more than half of the daily recommended intake for older adults, all before the clock hits 9:00 a.m. And when you add in the preservatives, flavor enhancers, and low-quality oils, you're left with a cocktail of ingredients that directly affect blood pressure, blood thickness, and circulation. For someone over 70, this isn't just a numbers game. It's about how your body responds to salt and additives. After decades of use, your kidneys process sodium more slowly. Your blood vessels become more reactive, and even a small excess can push your system past its threshold. Tom, 78, used to eat microwave breakfast burritos almost every morning. It was fast and filling, but over time, his blood pressure became harder to control, even with medication. When his doctor had him track sodium intake, the numbers from breakfast alone were eye-opening. Once Tom cut back and began preparing simple meals like scrambled eggs with spinach or a slice of whole grain toast with avocado, his numbers stabilized. He still ate well, but now his meals didn't come with a silent cardiovascular risk. The takeaway here isn't to never use a microwave. It's to be mindful of what you're heating up. If you flip the package over and see ingredients you can't pronounce or sodium levels that rival a bag of chips, it's time to reconsider. After 70, your body deserves meals that support your strength, not compromise it. And that includes what you grab when you're tired, rushed, or just want something easy. These little choices add up. And when it comes to preventing a stroke, it's not the big decisions once a year. It's the small ones every single morning. Final thoughts as we wrap up. Take a moment to think about your own mornings. What's on your plate? What small habits might you have overlooked? Ones that seem harmless but over time could quietly be affecting your health in ways you never intended. The 5 foods we've talked about today, processed meats, sugary cereals, flavored yogurts, store-bought pastries, and high-sodium instant meals, aren't just about taste or convenience. They're about patterns. Patterns that either support your body's resilience or slowly chip away at it. The good news is this isn't about guilt or perfection. It's about awareness. Because once you understand what these foods do inside your body, you can make choices that protect you. Not just from strokes, but from fatigue, fogginess, and that lingering feeling of something's just not right. You deserve mornings that give you energy, clarity, and peace of mind. Mornings that set you up for strong circulation, steady blood pressure, and confidence in your health. And that starts with what's on your fork. So, whether it's swapping sugary cereal for steel-cut oats or reaching for a boiled egg instead of sausage, every little shift matters. You have more control than you think, and your body, at any age, is still capable of healing, strengthening, and protecting you from harm. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.